Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So for this video, we're going to be checking out the latest pilot watches to come from the Canadian micro brand Whitby Watch Company. They were kind enough to lend in 3 separate models for us to check out for their Canuck pilot watch. And I will say that this brand does a really good job honoring Canadian heritage. In this instance, the Canuck takes its inspiration from the Avro Canada CF100 Canuck twin turbojet. This was actually a plane that was primarily suited to intercept and engage potential area threats in all weather conditions coming out of World War II. Now, aside from the different color options that are available, you also have a Mark I and a Mark II dial. So for example, this one here I picked up on the left is a Mark I green dial Canuck. It's very much like your standard pilot watch with a Type A dial, where you have Arabic numerals for each hour index from 1 to 11. And then normally you would have a triangle at the 12 for orientation, but this brand cleverly replaced that with a W for the Whitby Watch Company logo. And you'll also see that down at the 6 o'clock, they've replaced that hour index with a date aperture, as well as the model branding Canuck for this particular timepiece. Now, these watches have a lot of applied elements you wouldn't typically find on a normal pilot watch, which is very much a printed dial. Aside from applied hour markers, you can see you have some nice depth with a raised chapter ring. And for the Mark I's, this raised chapter ring at the periphery here has your running minute track. But note that each time it intersects one of the hour markers, there's a wedge cut out of a chapter ring. So that's a really cool and subtle touch that you get. And also, depending on the color option, you're going to have slightly different dial texture on the periphery here, as well as pops of color on the seconds hand. So this one has a very nice lightning bolt style yellow seconds hand to contrast against the green colorway here. Now you also have an option for a Mark II dial for the Canuck, and this actually mimics very much what you would find on a Type B Flieger, where not only do you have hour markers on the periphery of a dial, you actually have an inner ring, and in this instance the inner ring gives you your running minute markers. So that's kind of neat, and the inner ring is also bordered by a pop of color, and depending on which one you go for, this one is the Mark II Black Canuck dial. This one is bordered with a nice yellow accent on the inner ring, as well as having a similar lightning bolt style seconds hand. Or if you prefer something more subdued, this one is a fuselage gray colorway, and it has red accents on the inner minute ring, as well as a nice pop of red on the seconds hand as well. Do note that the Mark II dials do have a raised chapter ring as well, but they're devoid of any minute markings because you're going to be utilizing that inner ring, of course, to give you a quick read of time that way. So now that you've kind of seen the different dial and color options that are available, I'll quickly go over the common specifications and dimensions for these timepieces. So let's go over the common dimensions for these timepieces. And I'll mention that a nice feature for these watches is they're all crafted in aircraft grade titanium, not stainless steel. So you're getting a 39mm case diameter here. If you flip the watch to the side, lug to lug distance between my thumbs right here, I measure at 46.4 millimeters. In terms of case height, I measure 11.7 millimeters from the bottom of a screwed down case back, which has a sapphire display window to show off the automatic movement, and then to the top of a flat sapphire crystal, which I do believe carries some inner anti-reflective treatment. And I'll quickly mention too that between the lugs is an even 20 millimeters, and you get a very nice OEM leather and riveted pilot style strap with this particular watch. You can see that the strap is thickly bolstered. It's genuine leather, and it is branded with the Whitby Watch Co. logo on the underside. And you have nice matching hardware in terms of a titanium buckle with Whitby branding as well. And I'll just give you a quick in-studio wrist shot of each model, just so you can see how it wears on my 7.5-inch wrist. That is 19 centimeters in circumference if you use the metric system. And I will say this is a very lightweight watch with a titanium. I measure this at coming in at only 73 grams for the watch head and the supplied leather. So here's a quick shot of the Mark II Black Canuck on my wrist. And I'll mention, of course, that I will link to the Whitby Watch Company website if you want more information on these timepieces. In terms of pricing for any of these Canuck pilot watches, the normal price is 965 Canadian dollars, but they do go on sale. I think right now you can save about 18%, and it's a really good value for anything really below 1,000 Canadian, in my humble opinion. And here's the fuselage gray colorway for the Mark II Canuck on my 7.5-inch wrist. I'm not really good at picking favorites, but personally I'm really connecting with this more muted fuselage gray color, and the texture to the dial I think really suits the aircraft grade titanium for the head of the watch as well. Alright, flipping the watch over, you can see a couple of other specs for this watch. You can see, according to the caseback branding, the automatic movement housed inside here is a Swiss Solita SW200-1. It's a 26 joule movement with about a 40-hour power reserve. You do have hacking and hand winding, and it runs at 4 Hertz. Not an overly decorated movement. They didn't even do a custom rotor or anything. But, you know, at the price point, you're getting a good workhorse Swiss movement. This watch is also rated to 100 meters of water resistance, and that is aided by having a very large and well-knurled screwed down crown. I do measure the crown to be a beefy 7.4 millimeters in diameter, so it's easy to operate and grip even with gloved hands. The watch also has a generous application of Swiss C3 Superluminova, and I'll show you guys a low light shot of all of these models right now, because I do think that the lume application is quite good, potent, and evenly applied for a pilot watch. So I'm very happy with how Whitby Watch Company did the lume on these dials. So that is my brief overview for the new Canuck pilot watches to come from Whitby Watch Company. If I did have some minor critiques, for one, I would say that while I do really enjoy the quality of these leather straps, they are very thick and do require some break-in time. So just be prepared for that. I'm sure it's going to get very comfortable once you wear it for a while. And then a really minor nitpick is, if you're going to show an open case back, maybe do something to the movement to dress it up just a little bit. I understand that, of course, this is a sub $1,000 watch, so you can't expect everything, but it's just a minor critique overall. And I will say, at the end of the day, really excited for this release from Whitby Watch Company. These pilot watches are more compact than their prior generations of like their Avro Aero. Coming in at sub 40 millimeters is a really good universal size. And I do think that the titanium makes it very lightweight and comfortable on the wrist. But as always, guys, I'd love to hear your feedback on this latest release from Whitby Watch Company. And if you do enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out. So that's going to do it for this video, and I can't wait to catch you guys in the next one.